Okay, so next video, yeah, this is the first step in getting my son into F1. So the first thing I want to do is really get into the world of motorsport. So in order to do that, I was thinking sim rig's probably going to be the best way to get started. I've been watching a lot of videos online recently about drivers getting into actual racing from sim rigs, and even Max Verstappen, spends a lot of time on the sim rig. Sim rigs are getting, or sim racing itself is getting more and more popular, getting more and more realistic. So I just really wanted to get started into it. This is just a really basic setup that I put together myself. Funny story is, again, I want to piece this together pretty much from junk. So this Logitech G29 I actually found at the back of a cash converters. They were actually about to chuck it away because the pedals weren't working. It ended up being just a faulty wire that I managed to put together myself and fix. It came with a next gen frame. I felt that it really wobbled a lot, so I didn't really like it. So again, I went back to trust the old Facebook Marketplace and managed to find this play seat frame. It was missing a pedal stand, and the chair was pretty worse for wear as well. So what I did was I actually grabbed an old gaming chair that I had lying around, managed to put a couple of pieces of aluminium so I could bolt it to the frame, and yeah, I had the next gen pedal stand. Basically, I had to bolt that to the frame. Couple of things I've done to it is I managed to get this this hub so I can actually use a real life steering wheel, because the only real issue with these ones, obviously I know the force feedback's not the best, and there's a lot of other reviews out there saying that they're not the best wheel, but they obviously, I think they feel pretty cool, to be honest. One thing though was the steering wheel was really small, so I'm not sure if I can find it. Here you go. This is the original wheel that came with the Logitech. So that's what it's like. It's got all the buttons on there. I found this thing on eBay. It's a 70mm adapter plate that you can fit an actual steering wheel on. So I also managed to, I had a Momo steering wheel ready for my old car. So I bolted that on there. It's a real life steering wheel. So I thought that was really cool. And the gear stick was the other thing that was a little bit, and it is still a little bit off, to be honest. It's pretty toy-like, but what I did was actually grab a old gear knob that I had lying around from my old S2000, chucked it on here as well, so it definitely feels the part. But I guess the main thing that I think really set this apart and has really changed the game for me is the PlayStation VR2. So I've set up the PlayStation VR2 with Gran Turismo 7 on PS5, so I'm using this on PS5 at the moment, and it's actually awesome. I think I'd actually want to do a proper review of the PSVR2 and Gran Turismo 7. I think this setup is great. It feels really good. I had to sell my S2000 when baby boy came, and I jumped on there with the PSVR2, the racing steering wheel, as well as the gear knob from the S2000 with the VR on, and I literally felt like I was driving the car. You look around and you can really see it. I'm going to put some gameplay footage as well of me driving a Muse S2000, and it's pretty cool. You can look around, you can see the other cars as you're racing, going into the racing line. And I think this is going to be great for him. Might just be a bit of a toy to begin with, just to have some fun, get into it. I think I've learned a lot about racing. There's going to be limitations to this stuff. I've got some plans and ideas of what I want to do next with the sim racing side of it. I'd love to get a PC. But what I really thought about was, look, with the VR2, I could have spent money on a PC, then I have to go download games, get a new racing set up and sim rig and everything like that. So I thought, you know what I might do is, when I outgrow this, for sure, buy the PC, get a new racing steering wheel, one of those direct drive steering wheels, and set up a proper rig for it. At this stage, this thing doesn't need much. It doesn't have much force feedback, so I don't need a really rigid frame or anything. So I think this is a great little toy, and maybe set up a second sim rig to get a bit more serious with the racing side. So yeah, this is going to be the plan. So stage one, this is stage 1, getting into the VR side. Stage 2 is going to be setting up maybe a new sim rig and trying maybe one of those direct drive steering wheels out, which will be awesome. But yeah, here's a bit of a tour of my sim rig, and I'll show it in action in a second. Cool, so this is the setup at the moment. Got in front of the TV, 75-inch TV on the wall. Yeah, as you can see, it's pretty creaky at the moment. This was the original setup before I had the PSVR2, just racing onto the TV. Cool, so this is the new setup now with the PSVR2. When you're playing, you actually see the screen on the TV as well, so other people can see what you're actually seeing. It doesn't show the full screen though, for some reason, not sure why, but this is what the footage looks like inside. So yeah, it looks pretty cool. You can see, like I said, the other cars. You can look around the cockpit. Great thing about the GT7 is all of the interiors are so detailed. The sounds are great. The way the cars handle, I think, are pretty realistic as well. This is the Amuse S2000, not the same as my S2000, but when I race the stock one, it's yeah, the interior is so accurate. It's awesome. Yeah, so one other thing to note here, you can actually see the mirrors, the rear view, both the side mirrors as well, and obviously out the window. So when you're racing wheel to wheel, I find it's so much more immersive, because you can actually see where you are in relation to the other vehicles, and it just makes you feel like you're actually racing a bit more. I've actually purposely turned off all the HUD or the head-up display, so you can't see any of the lap timings, or the other cars' names and those sorts of things. So it just, again, feels a bit more immersive to me. I like driving it. Doesn't show any of the racing lines or anything like that, so you can just really just feel like you're driving the road. I honestly just spend hours driving on the road, just driving different cars on the road, and just really having fun with it. So yeah, one last thing to note, I guess the main issue with this current setup of the G29 is really the gear shifter. As you can see, I've misshift here. It doesn't even go into gear at all, and it doesn't feel quite right. But yeah, hoping to change that with the new setup, possibly with the PC, and getting a new direct drive steering wheel, and maybe looking at Fanatec or a Moser setup, something like that. But yeah, I think overall, really good setup for what it is at the moment, and it's fun. That's the main thing, and that's what it's all about at the moment, just to get started with it. I think the little boy, baby boy Noah, will love this one day. I know it's going to be pretty old tech by the time he's ready to jump onto it. But as I race off into the sunset now, thanks for watching the video, guys. If you stayed this far, thanks so much. Don't forget, please like, subscribe, and maybe leave a comment as well. Thanks a lot.